Hi, Visionaries. I was thinking as I was making this course, it might be helpful for some of you if I continued to be vulnerable and I shared with you some of the things that derailed me. And it's interesting, I'm starting this Miss Klyn Media and we're launching this 15-day email campaign. We even have an online course in the works. We're looking at our second book, podcast, a potential movie. And it all stems through my biggest regret in my life. I put this side of my business off for two reasons. Number one, I didn't think anybody would listen to me. I didn't think what I had to say was valuable. And number two, the imposter syndrome, which feeds directly into number one of who's going to listen to me? Am I even valuable? The initial idea to launch Miss Klyn as a actual brand happened 3 years ago. So I was on a rooftop in Utah with the love of my life, still the love of my life. I'm not sure if he's watching, but hi, Jeff. And we were laying there talking, and it was this scenic overpass. It was beautiful in Utah, and the stars were out, and he goes, what do you want to do in your life? And I didn't know how to explain it, but I just told him, I've always had this vision that there's going to be a movie made about the life story, and that I'm going to go on to inspire hundreds of thousands of people. And I believed it. And he said, well, that's great, but what are you doing about it? So that's not great. I don't want to answer that. That's a horrible question. That's very defeating because I realized I wasn't doing anything about it. And then I started my recruiting company and it started doing relatively okay. And so I put off the Miss Klyn brand because now I have recruiting and I do love recruiting. I love teaching people about it. But the thing for me is I did it because I was really comfortable with it. I knew the industry. I knew the business. I knew what to say to candidates. I don't know. Some of you have seen this audio and visual. I don't know how to start a media company. Who am I to start it? Especially if I'm not talking about recruiting. And I told myself lies, such as I'm not making enough money in recruiting, so why in the world should I even launch Miss Klyn? One business isn't, spectacularly financially incredible, so why would the second one? And, why would I start a company that teaches anybody about how to give and receive unconditional, authentic love? I'm not even engaged. Who am I to talk about this? And the other belief I had was, I have cystic fibrosis. Great, we all have something. There's nothing proprietary about me. I would tell myself this all the time. 8 billion other people figured out how to wake up this morning. I'm no different than all of them. And I started to really live according to those thoughts. I started to let those thoughts seep into my mind in ways that I didn't necessarily was going to know it would overtake. And I realized that I couldn't move forward on my dreams because I was stuck. And I always had an excuse, And you don't call them excuses, right? Because everything is, we justify things with logic after we emotionally make an impulse, right? I had all of these incredibly sound logical components on why I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. And then Jeff comes to me and he goes, I want you to try something. Which, by the way, never a good idea if your boyfriend tells you they want you to try something. And he goes, take a pen and a sheet of paper, and for the next 7 days, just anytime somebody sends you a text, anytime you get a Facebook message, get a LinkedIn message, record what people say to you around the word inspire. Because I didn't think it was inspirational. I didn't get it. And in 10 days, I kept it up for 10 days just because I like to always one-up him. And I amassed 124 compliments at random. Now, some were from my network, absolutely, but a lot of them were for strangers. Somebody saw a YouTube video, or they had heard me speak and they finally decided to reach out, or they had emailed me, or who knows, who remembers, but I was just 124 people? Really? Data doesn't lie. We do. And the big thing for me is I went to a purpose-driven event. And there's a lady who came up to me and they said two things to me. Two things she said. First thing is, you've got such a great book. Why aren't you on the cover? I didn't think I was worthy enough to be on the cover of my own book. I didn't think my image was enough to be on the cover of my own book. That's for famous people. That's for real authors. Mine's just 10 chapters. And then she said, I've read your book. I've actually read it twice. I've been to 3 of your speaking engagements, and I've seen some of your YouTube videos. And the thing is I always find myself wanting more. I want to learn more from you. I want to associate with you. Would you mind, taking me in and being my mentor? And in my head, I'm like, girl, no, I don't do mentorships. I don't do coaching. Do you need candidates for your company? Because I know how to do that. And she's like, I think you really need to think about this. And I never got her name, but it hit me. She's right. What were my self-imposed limitations really standing for? I was fighting for what I wanted to believe so I didn't have to realize what I needed to achieve. The delay in living the way I was meant to live cost me my truest potential. The delay to being in service to the people like her might have cost me tens, hundreds of thousands of people at this point. If I started 3 years ago, who knew? Who knew where I'd be today? Where am I going to be 3 years from now? I wasted so much time chasing things that didn't really matter, that weren't in my vision, that were unimportant and not urgent, because it was comfortable. It's comfortable to believe in our excuses. It's comfortable to believe in our self-imposed limitations. And, it's never all about money, but yeah, it kind of is too. What is the monetary loss for me not being able to provide for people the way that I was meant to provide for people? And essentially it created a negative feedback loop that just kept repeating itself. And so I'm so grateful that I met her at that conference and that she came up to me and she really opened up and she shared with me the best, truest, most self of what I needed to know. And I realized I comfort myself with my excuses while telling others to live theirs. And I want other people to reach for their potential, but I'm not reaching for mine. So that's why I'm starting this. That's why I'm starting Miss Klyn Media. I don't know where it's going to go. I've got my vision, and I've got some good habits, which we're going to get into. But I would feel like more of an imposter if I wasn't authentic and honest with all of you about why I'm finally launching into this. And I really hope that through these lessons, I'm able to help your lives. And I realize that if I don't win at building this media company, at putting my message out there, the tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of people I'm trying to change their lives and help them with, they're not going to win either. And I don't know about you, visionaries, but I think it's about time we start winning again.